As you know, I am Sai, reporting today for you guys, and we discussed about some training structure, which is going to be for 30 days for 4 different weeks. We have the 4 different kind of courses, which is enable and how it's going to be initial phase, mid phase, and the closure phases, and then your potential career with respect to choosing, you know, this as your career option. Adding to that, why do we want Power BI to be our career option? Because it can do some real-time analysis, custom visualizations, quick insights, data gateways, natural language querying, and easy to use and access, multiple source connectors, cheapest and expensive solution, interactive visualization dashboards, along with data sharing and collaborations. So we also spoke about some types of Power BI platforms, right? First, we will have a Power BI desktop version, which is a freeware. So we can go back to Microsoft. You can try to go back and install this application within your desktops or your laptops. As I said again, it has to be Windows 8 above to do this and Windows Server 2016 above to install them. And then you need to have your Power BI service accounts. So service accounts are not easy. Service accounts are specifically being provided to only business domain people. So you cannot create your service account on your Gmail accounts. Okay, so you need to have a business account like in case if at all you're working in any organization, for example, Wipro, you will have your domain as at the rate of wipro.com, correct? Now that is the kind of domains which are required to create these service accounts. But you might ask like, is there any other way like, we can go back and work on these service accounts? Yes, it is. We will provide you the service accounts for practice. So in case if at all you're opting for our course, that is where you'll get an advantage when it comes to your market. No one in the market, like you can just go back and try anywhere else. You'll get your ample time to get this done, but you may not find this, opportunity of getting to work on hands-on for this Power BI service. For Power BI desktop, yes, it is. You can, but you will only create a report. But after you create and you publish it in the service account, this is all it matters, right? Sure. So you need to maintain, you need to share them, you need to have a schedule refreshes, you need to have some failure email notifications. A lot has been done within your service account as well. So that is where we will provide that account so that you guys can always have that hands-on experience for that. And then the other version types are your gateways. We spoke about it gateways, right? Yesterday, it is like your internet connection where you can go back and have that connectivity where you'll always stay up to date with respect to your on-premises data and the report servers, visual marketplace, embedded stuff, and so on. And we also discussed some components. We said that we have some 8 good components where the Power BI work on: Power Pivot, modeling purpose, Power Query, for transformation purpose, Power View for viewing the visualizations, Power Map to get your map visualizations, Power BI service from where we will publish our reports to Power BI gateway. We use it to have the cloud data up to date from your on-premises server, data catalog to reuse the data which we has been already created, Power BI Q&A, which is a natural language querying process. So this is where your Power BI components will work. Coming to your Power BI building blocks, we have dashboards, visualizations, data sets, reports, and tiles. As I said, visualizations are, one report can have multiple pages. Each page can have multiple visualizations. And in order to create a report, we need data sets. Once you create a report, we publish it in a service account. Over there, you will go back and create a dashboard, which is like a notice board in your college to pin any of those visualizations, which we call it as a tile. We also seen some key differences between your free pro and your premium versions as well. Coming to your data connectors, yes, we have some 100 plus data connectors which are available to connect to our Power BI desktop version so that we can always create a lot of reports based on this. Then we also spoke about some competitors who are like Tableau, ClickSense, ThruSpot, and Looker. And we have seen some market trend like how Power BI, Microsoft Power BI has just crossed its edge over Tableau in the market by adapting this technology all over. We have seen some pricing too. We said that, it's cost $9.99 per user per month for pro license. This is what I will give you guys for practice. OK, I will give you a pro license to everyone so that you can practice. And then you will have some premium accounts too, 4,995. Don't expect me to give this. OK, it costs a bomb. And then we have seen some desktop concepts, isn't it? What happens after you download this tool and you open it? You'll be able to get some data from multiple sources. This is how a report view will look like. This is where your data view will see relationship view, visualizations, publish key, blah, blah, blah. Get data stuff in a GIF file. Yes, we have seen it yesterday. Can't we just move forward? Yes, we can. I spoke about the connectivity types. So this was the last thing which you have spoke about yesterday, right? Now that you know, now that you remember a lot of stuff which we have discussed yesterday, now let me continue it from here about the connection types. I know that we discussed this yesterday, but still I will reiterate it. So what is that I spoke about import? So I said that whenever you try to import as a connectivity type for a SQL source, okay, let us suppose your source is your SQL. You wanted to choose your import option as a connectivity type. Now all the data will get stored in your Power BI. You have to create a modeling within the Power BI and visualizations too in the Power BI. Now that is what an import will happen. It's very high performance. Performance will be very high. Data will always get stored in your Power BI. This is good. But what if you want to make it a little different? I want to make a direct query. You can make a lot of transformations within here, but not within your direct query. There's no data transformations. You will only able to do the modeling here. It's a limited data modeling and not that much too. It's very limited. Lower performance, data stored at source. Queries will be sent to source all the time. No refreshes required. It will be always up to date. So the data will get stored in the data source itself in your direct query connection. So, and then you will have some modeling, a limited data modeling, and then you will go back and create a visuals within that. Now coming to your live connection, data and the modeling will be done in your data source itself, like your analysis services or your Power BI dataset. And then we will be able to create visualizations. Now, in case if you think this is a little fuzzy to understand, don't worry. I will show you all the three different connectivity types when we start our session. So it will be very clear for you at that point of time to understand what's happening and what are the differences when you view it in reality. But now it's always necessary to have that theoretical kind of a knowledge to move forward, right? And then data modeling. Now, when it comes to your data modeling, I always said, right? So we will do some modeling within your Power BI. When you also do the importing stuff, we will also do some modeling within your Power BI, but we cannot do any modeling when it comes to your live connection. But why is that we are not able to do any modeling in the live connection, or what is that kind of the modeling we want to do when we are trying to create any reports? So the data modeling is a very huge concept and a very excellent concept to derive and to look after. So the very first one when it comes to your data modeling is you can go back and create a relationship between your data sources. Now, how do you create a relationship between any two different tables? Depending upon your primary keys in that particular table, you will create a relationship. Now, just like this. This is one table and this is another one. So let us suppose, for example, in my table 1, let's think about your Amazon order. What happens as soon as you place an order? You will receive an order ID. Why is that you need an order ID? To track your order. Okay. But what is that exactly which is happening in the backend. We don't have just two tables over there. We'll have multiple tables. Now that is for sure. So for example, let's think about two tables for now. The first table is your customer table. The second table is your product table. Okay, your orders table, the one which you have ordered. Okay, so the very first one, which is your customer table. So each and every person will have their own customers table. Do you think that is how Amazon will work? No, of course not. You just can't go back and create an each table for n number of users. So it has to be a singular table where they can store all the end users data within that particular table. But how do they do it? So there should be some identifier. This should be some key, right? As soon as they say, hey, Sai, what's your ID? So they should be able to pull that ID with respect to for that particular person, right? So when I say it's a customer table, they will store, they will generate a unique customer ID for that particular person. So for me, let us suppose my unique ID is 001. For Hemant, it is 002. Now for Sai, it's 003 and so on. Don't mind if at all I'm not taking any numbers for you. Don't ask me what your numbers are. Just kidding. So that is how they will create a unique numbers for each and individual person. So once they have that ID in the first column, the second column, they will store our name. In the third column, they will store our phone number. The fourth column, they store our address and so on. Now what happens in the second table, which is the order placed table? Now within the order placed table, it's we who place the order, right? So again, you will have a one column which says like the customer ID, the one which you have just discussed here, the customer ID, which is from our email account, which we have like try to create it, right? So it will get stored, our ID, then order ID will get generated, which is a unique one, and then the product ID and some other IDs as well. So whenever you have that particular IDs, each of them will be coming from different tables. Always remember that. I just told you an example for your customer ID only. So these two customer IDs, which are coming from two different tables, are able to get related because they can identify that with respect to the relationship. Now that relationships will be one to many, many to one, or many to many relationships. I'm sure you would have remembered your days from your college time when I'm talking about your relations. So this is where any table will get related with each other and they are able to identify. But why do they have to do that? Why just they can't go back and store the entire detail like, it's Sai, his name, his email address, his name, what is product name. Let us suppose he's trying to buy some iPhone. It will say some iPhone and so on. It's a huge chunk of data. You don't want to store it in a very text format. The string is so big. The number of characters which it involves to store that kind of the data within a database is so huge when it compares to your numbers. Now that is where they will try to store it in. So we create a relationship of these particular tables as soon as we bring them to our Power BI. Now someone will ask me, Sai, do you think that, I can create a relationships just like that? we can also we can also create this relationship with the help of auto detect. We also have an auto detect relationship feature available in Power BI. So what it does is like depending upon the number of the tables we try to pull, it will eventually connect them with respect to the relationships. Not just this comes under data modeling, a lot of other features as well. We can create a calculated columns, time and date intelligence functions. So schemas as well. I spoke about the schema in the earlier session, right? We'll say that Power BI follows a star schema. So we also have the star schema enabled. So moving forward, here it is, the star schema. Now I just said about your sales table, right? From where you have placed order, that is your fact table. I said we have a customer ID, right? So we also have a customer ID too. So then we also have some date table as well. We also have some product table as well. So similar to that, we have some salesperson, store, but why do we have all these? Because they're all dimension tables and this sales table is a fact table. When it comes to a relationship between your sales table to your dimension tables, that is where the schema will come in place. When you have this kind of a star schema, the Power BI can follow a very powerful schema. It is where it will have a relationships with. So just in case if at all I'm trying to confuse you guys, I'll tell you an example which is very familiar. Customer table will have all the customer IDs. Store table will have all the store details. Salesperson will have all the salesperson details. Product will have all the product details and date will have some date details and so on. But why is there like connected with our sales table side? Yes, because as soon as you place an order, we need a customer ID. We need a store ID from where it's coming from. We need a product ID of the person who has ordered. We need a salesperson ID too, some date IDs as well. But what is that which is happening here exactly is this sales table is a fact table. But what is this fact table? Now you placed an order in the morning. What was the status of your order? Order placed. After 2 hours, order shipped. After 3 hours, order delivered, and so on. Correct? Where is all these statuses will get stored? It's a fact, right? So that is where they will store in the sales version as a fact table. Now that is why you have this star schema coming in picture, which is a very powerful schema to work in a very quick fashion. What happens is like, sales data. When I said that, who has ordered this particular order, it will eventually go back to that customer to show me his name. It will eventually go back to the product and it will try to show me this is the order product name. So that is where it will work on. So if it's a little fuzzy even as of now, don't worry. This is the sales report. I will take it as a project while explaining you guys about this. So don't worry about it. It will all get covered eventually. So adding to that, so what are we going to do apart from this as well is we also have something else. So just let me know if my screen is visible. Is one second. Cool. It's up. It's up. It's up. It's up. Yes, guys, are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Can someone tell me like what is it? Just the heading.
Relationship detection.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Thank you. So this is what I mentioned about. Is that right? When you have the relationships between different kind of the tables, you say that, I don't know how to create these relationships. You can, how do I do it automatically? This is how you will do it. Auto detect. Yes. When you have the column names, similar column names, it will be able to auto detect. Don't tell that, from the column, um, from first table, there is some other name and second table, there is some other name and you want it to get detected automatically. It doesn't work like that. It has to have the same column names like the one you are looking at. Prod ID, prod ID. So it was able to detect it. Next, when you are looking at it, it says one and say one here as well. What is this one and one? Anyone? in case if you want to give it a try.
Customer ID? Probably.
No, I said it's a one-to-one
One-to-one
relation.
relation.
Yes, perfect. So that's a one-to-one relationship. Now that is what we call it as a cardinality. These relationships, many to many, one to one, and many to one. Okay. Then you're looking at this double direction, right? You can also have a singular direction too. Since it's one to one, it's double direction, which means it's both direction. What happens is like data can flow from here to here, here to here. When I say one direction, it will flow from here to here. If it's heading towards top, it will flow from this direction. So that is what these relationship detections are: the flow, the cardinality, and the directions. So whenever you have a fact table and a dimension table in the star schema, you have a star to one, right? Star to one, star to one, star to one, star to one. Can someone say what is the star to one? So earlier you said when you have this one to one, you said it's one to one, right? What is the star to one?
One to many.
Yes. So whenever you're trying to look at from this side, it's one to many. But when you're trying to look at from the other end, it's many to one, like from fact to dimension. So that's how this schema works and the connection works and the relationship will work and so on. So you can create a calculated column which also comes under modeling. You will go back to modeling stuff. We create calculated columns. We will write formulas if required. We will go back to modeling. We will create an entire new table to get this done. So Power View. So let's talk about the Power View. We have someone coming in. So, okay. So the Power View, the topmost pane is your ribbon. Second one is your report view. Third one is your pages tab. Fourth one is your visualizations pane. And fifth one is your fields pane. This is the kind of the understanding you need to have so that you understand when we talk about it. When I say it's a ribbon pane, you'll be like, hey, the one at the top is my ribbon pane. When I say it's a report view, you'll say that yes, the one in the middle is your report view. Pages tab and the visualization pane and the fields pane you can easily identify because the headings are like that. You can also call it as a filters pane too. Now these are the different kind of the visualizations we can create using the Power BI. This is an area chart, bar and your column charts. This is your multi-row card, single number card, gauge charts, donut charts, KPIs, which are your key performance indicators, matrix, pie charts. This is just a basic map visualization, line chart, Q&A. I told you guys, right? It's your natural language processing. You will just go back and enter what is the sum of your sales in the year 2019, something like that. So this is where you will ask you a question about your data and it will respond to you. So these are like some suggestions. Top geostates by total compute volume. It will also throw some suggestions to us as well. It's that smart. Table visualization, waterfall charts. Ah, this is a big headache. Tree maps too. When we also spoke about some custom visualizations, this is from where you will try to go back and get it. It's like just your Android store or your iPhone app store, something like that, your Play Store, where you can go back and try to pull these visualizations so that you can use more apart from the one which are already available. So filter data with Power BI. So you want to filter the data within your Power BI, yes, but you always think it, right? Like let us suppose you are trying to pull um some a kind of a data which is like in India's data. Okay, so I say that hey, why don't you just rule out the metropolitan cities data from the report? What you will do, you'll quickly go back to the data source and then you will delete all the metropolitan data and then you'll come back to the Power BI to use it. But if you go with this approach, what happens is like all your data will be lost from your data source itself because you just deleted it. We don't delete it, right? We don't have to delete the data from the source. We have to control the data within your Power BI as well. You have to filter what's required and you have to ignore the ones which is not required. How do you do that? You have to filter it. So when you try to apply the filters within your Power BI to see what is required and what's not, it will not affect the source, correct? So that is what it means. Changing your filters will not affect your source data. Now that is important. Your data is there, you will apply some filters and that's how your visualization will show. And then we spoke about interactive visualizations yesterday. So there's a small GIF which is playing on to the right side, correct? You're trying to select it. It says that, hey, I'm changing with respect to what's being selected. Yes, it is. Now there are 4 different kind of filters here: report level, page level, visualization level, and drill throughs. So we can have these 4 different types of filters. When I say report level, it will apply to all the pages in the report. Let us suppose in all the pages, I want to apply this category filter. You can do it where? Let me show you that. See, this is your filters session, right? Filters on this page and filters on all pages. So I want to apply the filters on all pages. I'll just quickly go back and drag this column 3 and drop it here and apply the change. Now by doing that, I am applying the filter for all the pages. That is what we need. When I say page level filter, you will make the change here only for this particular page, which is your page 3. In which you are in as of now. So for page 3, I want to apply the column 1 filter only. So it will work. When I say visual level filters, this is where you can have to use the slicers to have the visual level filters too. Within the drill throughs, yes, still you can go back and change what has to be seen and what's not, which is not available here, huh? But when we are working on the visualization, you'll be able to see it in a very particular way. For example, I can give you an example for drill throughs. So first I have added an year. OK, I added an year. Now you can see the months right in the bottom as an x-axis. First I added a year and then month. Then no, first year, quarter, month and days. OK, what I mean by drill through is first I will look after the year from 2019 to 2021. How many bars will we have? Only 3. 19, 20 and 21, correct? So 3 bars, 3 years. When I drill it through, I wanted to see months. Now there are 2 scenarios. I can also see with respect to year and month, and I can also see only months as well. Because months are same for all years. But a month year will always be unique, correct? January 2019, it's only occurring once. It's a unique one. But January occurring in 19, 20 and 21 is not unique. Correct. So that's how we can go back and drill through depending upon our requirement to n number of, drill throughs like categories we wanted to look after. So we can also see using some buttons. I will also give you tasks with respect to these as well, guys. I will give you tasks. Tasks like how do we use these buttons? How do I use my bookmarks? How do we use the selection panels? How can we create a good new UI like the one you are looking behind? So the UI looks good. The report looks a lot better. The report looks better. The customer will be very happy. And how do we fit all such kind of a compact information by looking it so good rather than making it look a little awful? So I'll also give you a lot of different kind of reports which are already made so that you can see the different kind of UI stuff and learn on it. Coming to your transform data, we spoke about this yesterday, right? We spoke about we have a Power Query as one of the component within your Power BI. I don't know how many of you all remember. We have also done that small check before we are here, which is this Power Query. I mentioned the Power Query as transformations, correct? To transform the data, we need Power Query. So you pull all the data to your Power BI desktop, which is from different sources. It could be your on-premises, it could be your Excel, CSV files, flat files, and so on. And then we quickly connect them to your Power BI desktop, and then we transform them with respect to using our Power Query editors. And then we create visualizations, and then we create reports, publish them to your Power Power BI service accounts, and then we will view it from your web. It's as simple as that. How do we launch this Power Query editor? We'll click on Home, click on Transform Data, and then we'll get into your Power Query editor. But Sai, why are you showing us how to get into this Power Query editor in as a image standpoint? But why is that we see a question mark after this? Because this is all we have to discuss about a theoretical standpoint for now. Too much of theoretical knowledge is not helping us if we at all we are not performing, right? All the theoretical stuff is done. So we will do a hands-on in the lab sessions, which we will discuss within the classes by using this Power Query editors. Okay, next. I will stop here. I'll pause to see your understanding, to see what are the different kind of the questions you have. But before you start, let me tell you few details. We provide you 30 days of course, which includes your 5 working days. We may also take your Saturdays if possible, if at all we are lagging behind. We give you daily tasks for you to perform. We share videos so that you can always view these videos for your lifetime at any point of time. Okay, for your practice, for any that purpose, any such purpose. We give you data where you will practice, not just the tasks. We will also give you the data so that you create your reports. We will give you a Power BI service account so that you publish those reports in a service account and I can view your reports so that I can tell you your some feedbacks with respect to that. We give you some interview questions too so that you guys can practice. We discuss about 3 different kind of the projects once the course is done. In case if at all you are also opting for some placement assistance, yes, it's always there. So no matter what, whatever you have been looking after, we are always there to get your back. What if at all you have already, let us suppose like you have already, you know, joined a company or like you cracked an interview, like you want some support, everything is always there in place. So if at all you are willing to join the sessions, this is my personal number. You can make it noted. You can ping me, you can text me as well. If not, you can also get in touch with Pramod or me to discuss about anything personally if you're not comfortable talking over here. Next, from when we will start our regular sessions? Yes, 24th, like tomorrow is a Friday, and then we'll have some Christmas weekend and so on. So I don't want to disturb any of your plans at this point of time. So I would prefer to start it fresh from 27th of December. So still you'll have some 3 good ample days of time to discuss, to decide what has to be done so that you know uh, the best, you get the best. All right. So with this, I will pause here and see if you have any questions. Come on, guys.
Yes, I
Anything?
do have few questions, but I prefer calling you and getting them clarified. Okay.
Okay, no worries.
Yeah.
I'm all available. You can ping me in
Yeah.
WhatsApp as well. Just tell the name, number, Power BI.
Okay.
That would do all the because other people
Yeah.
might there is also
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
Azure batch, Azure people who will be running because so I don't want to get confused between all those people. So that's
Okay.
it. All right.
Yeah.
So yes,
Because,
as I said, anything personal, you can always contact us. If
okay.
not,
Okay. Sure.
you have your Pramod's number. He is also the person can you contact with. If not me too, it will work.
Okay. Yeah.
So
So
anything.
apart from that, I have one question. Like while explaining, you have brought few concepts like primary key, schema, tables. All these are like related to SQL,
Mhm, mhm.
right? Are we gonna get some basic information about SQL also if we
Uh,
take this course?
no, no, Hemant, not that. But what happens is like within the transformations which are involved in your Power BI itself. Let us suppose I'm talking about some joins. Okay. These
Yeah,
joins are also available in your SQL too,
SQL.
correct?
Yes.
Yes. However, those joins are also available in Power BI. I will tell the same thing, but it doesn't mean that I have to quickly go back and talk to you in terms of SQL by opening any SSMS and so on. Okay, I don't do that, but we will connect to a SQL database. We will try to pull some data to our Power BIs. Now that is the kind of the data source which I will show you because that is the most widely used in the market.
Okay.
Okay, so it might feel like we are not covering it up, but somewhere it's always there. So when I talk about pivot, you can also do the pivot in your SQL, correct? But
Yeah,
again, you will
SQL.
also be able to do that in Power Query too. So that is what I am telling about. You may not feel like we are exactly discussing that, but yes, each and every kind of transformation options which are available within your SQL are all covered in your Power Query and Power BI too. So I don't mind like using Power BI for those transformations as well. I hope this answered your question, Hemant. Okay, looks like it is dropped or something.
No,
Okay,
no, no.
guys, any more questions?
No, Sai.
Okay, thank you, Hemant.
Thank you.
Vindhya, yes, Vindhya, I see that you have unmuted yourself for a question.
Yeah. I have a question like the topics or the
Mhm,
concepts that we are explaining in our classes now,
mhm,
like in these sessions. Like, will
mhm.
that helpful like when we are working on real-time projects, like after we get selected or we are aligned with new projects? Like, will that help?
Yes.
Is that the same thing or
Yes. See, when I'm talking about even in the interview questions as well, if you have, quickly understood, I always mention that, hey, this is an interview question. This is how an interview question is gonna be. And I'm saying that the reason why they ask such kind of questions in interviews because that is where we use them in a real time. Okay. So this real time practice, when I give you this particular tasks, it is most important that you work on these tasks. We give you a project, you finish your projects to understand where you stand. That will really help you in getting in a real time knowledge for all such stuff. That is where you will be able to crack your interviews and also to work on your projects. These, again, Vindhya, I will say that, I will go back and give you a kind of a requirement. Okay. I'll say that I want you to just add these two columns is my requirement. You will do that in a third column. But you may also get another requirement that add to add these two columns and subtract another column as well. I may not give you that requirement, but there's always a probability that a lot of things will come into picture depending upon different kind of requirements. So we try to pull all such kind of requirements in under one page so that it's always helpful for you guys to perform these tasks. So that's how we can help you guys in preparing, in understanding, in working on these concepts.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Vindhya. Any more questions? Okay. Yes, Harika Puli, I see that you have unmuted yourself. Do you have a
Uh,
question?
yeah. Hi. Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, I haven't attended yesterday's session. So, is there any chance attending that session again?
Yes, you can get a demo video. You can just
Yeah.
ping to. I believe that yeah, Pramod has referred you. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Correct. Yes, you can just get back to Pramod. He can go back and share you the demo video. We have it recorded anyways, even this session as well. So no worries.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Vindhya, you also unmuted yourself for the another time. Like while Harika is saying something, you have a question.
No, no, I'm just saying that's all from my end.
Okay. Okay. All right. Cool. If this is it, it's all good. In case if you have any more questions, you have my number. You can call back to me or Pramod as well to discuss any other questions you have. So just have a happy weekend, guys. Merry Christmas to everyone. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wish you the same. Bye bye.
Bye.